I respect someone who's more honest about their femininity and sexuality.
So these women who are just with me.
Now, by the way, Lila Rose, married at 28-ish, late 20s, early 30s, claims to have a 0 body count. Now, her husband might be stupid, but I'm not, okay? I'm not. You're not going to convince me that you started banging. I mean, the latest girl I knew that lost her virginity, and this was a small school, maybe 20 or 21, but on average 16. So you're telling me in 12 years, nobody hit? Not one blowjob? Okay. Now, I'm not saying you should pick Bonnie either, but I just want to hear you guys who are you picking? And, you know, Bonnie Blue's obviously, like, pretty gross. She banged 1,000 dudes in a day. But we're going to watch how she acts.
And telling me they love me because they want my money. And the women who accuse me of but they don't get it. And all of my current girlfriends who say, I love you so much, but they run their mouth to me the second they don't like something and they get upset about something and they show they don't actually respect me. They just want a lifestyle. Do you think I respect them more than I respect a woman like Bonnie who's honest?
Do you think maybe you're just attracting that kind of woman?
Because I'm super successful and super rich, probably.
That's what women chase.
But that's what women chase, and that's what the most...
Do all women chase that?
Well, Rob.
A lot. The people that are broke sit and complain the fact they're broke. So just because they don't have it, they want it.
Rob, let's reverse this. You're saying I attract a certain type of woman who loves money, right?
I think we all attract a certain type of person based on who we are.
Okay, well, you nailed it. So based on who you are, depends on what you chase in the world. Wouldn't the most attractive women on the planet want money? Let me ask you, this is a thought experiment. If you're a beautiful woman and you know you're beautiful, you're in the top tier of beauty on the planet. You're the top 0.1% of women on the planet in terms of pure looks. Are you going to use that to make money, or are you going to go with a broke? You're going to use that to make money because you have a USP.
Well, society proves it, I think.
Absolutely. So if I want the most beautiful women on the planet, those women want money. So here we are.
So you just get rich to attract beautiful women? Is that
No, that's not why I got rich. I got rich because I wanted to be powerful. I actually didn't want money. I want power. Turns out everyone realizes once they have money that they never want money in the first place. They wanted power. You know this. Elon himself knows this. Imagine being Elon, the richest man on the planet. You still got some Jezebel, Ashley, running her mouth about you and taking you to court. That's the matriarchy we live in. You can be the richest man on the planet. Some silly woman can still lie about you and drag you to court. Isn't that incredible? Think about that. That would never happen in ancient times. You're a king. You're the richest man on the face of the earth. And some random gets to drag you to court and put you in front of a judge. Incredible. Look at me.
I actually want to add one caveat to the question. You don't have to worry about the public perception. They just sit at home, and you have to deal with their personalities.
I take down my empire with these women just lying. This is the world we live in. We live in a matriarchy. No man is safe. The point I'm making is, if you're a man who wants the most attractive women on the planet, and you want true beauty, the women you find will instinctually want money because they're beautiful. Beautiful women, that's what they want. They want to get something for their beauty because they understand how unique they are. Don't we all? If you understand your unique set of skills, you want a high-paying wage at a job. If you know you're the only person who can do this job, you want to be paid well for it, don't you? This is human nature. My point is this.
So love is transactional.
Of course love's transactional. My point is, for the people complaining about Bonnie Blue, they need to shut up and complain about all the women out here pretending they love men and dragging them through divorce courts and taking half their stuff.
See, with me,
Bonnie's never taken half of a man's stuff.
No.
You've never taken half of a man's anything. You've taken some OnlyFans subscriptions. She ain't taking half of them.
She's just taking a bunch of loads.
Man's house.
Well, wait a minute here.
So notice she lets him. Now again, I'm just an analyst. Okay. Notice how she's looking at him. She's smiling. She's sitting feminine. She's letting him talk.
Your top subscribers pay you. I mean,
but that's voluntary. It wasn't taken. It was given.
They've chosen to. That's like if.
How much? What's the biggest amount of subscriber?
Well, we're talking like hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands of pounds.
Yeah.
Of course.
An individual man pays.
Yeah.
Just to see your content online.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's given. It's not taken. She didn't drag him in front of a judge.
I'm not holding him at gunpoint.
What do you think about men spending hundreds of thousands of pounds?
I used to have a webcam studio. That's normal. If she didn't take a man in front of a judge and forcibly take his stuff. I think what Bonnie's doing is far less destructive or heinous than a woman dragging a full-grown man in front of a judge and making him liquidate half of his empire that he worked for his entire life so she could take that money and go f another man with it. I think every single divorce currently going through the courts today is more heinous and more aggravating than anything Bonnie's done.
Where if someone got with me, I'd be like, Andrew, I've got tight holes, good blowjob skills, and I'm not going to cry rape the next day.
How could you be tight with that? I don't want to just state the obvious, but how could you be tight with that amount of men?
Well, that'd be your opinion, Rob.
I mean, it's a question.
Right
my opinion doesn't mean anything in this situation.
I can prove it, though. Do you want to prove it? We'll see who's tighter, your wife or me.
So look, now, you might say, oh, that's gross, but she's playing to the male ego. Men want to be, like, they're never hit on, they're never desired. Look at Tate smiling. This is a far more pleasant exchange for the men than Lila. Okay.
Next question, huh?
Andrew, what's your biggest failure or regret?
I don't operate from a realm of failure. I don't think I've really failed it very much. I think I've done pretty good in this simulation, considering the primary objectives of life.
Would you not class though going to prison?
I don't consider that a failure, no.
But isn't success a series of small failures or big failures in order to be successful?
Yeah, but I mean, what's the primary objectives of the masculine world? The primary objectives are to have an empire, which you can't say I don't have financially and socially. Was a cultural force. To have progeny, which I have. To be strong and to be well-known and renowned, which I have. You know, I dedicated my 20s to fighting in the ring. No one can say I'm not brave. I dedicate my life to combat, and I have a whole bunch of children and a whole bunch of money. It doesn't matter if I go to prison for the rest of my life. I've lived more life than most men ever will.
Yeah.
And I think I've done pretty good in this version of reality, considering I'm from a Luton council estate.
And
I don't operate from the realm of regret. And I don't regret going to jail, and I don't regret anything bad that's ever happened to me, and I never will. If bad things happen to me in the future, I won't regret them either. I just don't operate from that frame. I really do consider myself far more a commentator on life than a liver of life. I am a vessel, but I observe everything from above. And what happens to me, this is just the body, the conduit that God was fortunate enough to give me to observe life through. I'm glad he made it tall and strong and sexy and brown. That's great. But I'm quite externalized about things. And if I go to jail, I'll enjoy the experience of...
Can you guys hear that? I'll close a door if you can. There's a gym next door, so sometimes it gets loud.
Jail.
Are you hard on yourself?
You have to be. Otherwise, you can't win.
Are you hard right now? I mean,
So do you see... Men like that. Look at how happy they are. They love it. I don't have the balls to do that without laughing and keep a straight face. I don't have it in me. But they like that stuff, guys.
I heard they call you Cobra Tate. Are you packing a python?
Bonnie, you know, Bonnie, you're not an ugly woman. You're attractive. But because I'm jaded through my, long and industrious career, the only thing I find interesting really about women nowadays is kind of similar to something you said earlier. Yeah. You said you wanted to take the souls of the virgin men.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like to get a woman's heart more than I like to get her body. I kind of like her to be obsessed with me. And that's easier to do when you're one of her first men.
I mean, as soon as she sees you watching your money, you're all right. You've got a heart.
Yeah, but no, that she's obsessed with my bank. I want her to be obsessed with me for real. I try and find women who love me, which is very difficult.
For who you are and not your money and transactions.
No, it starts with the money and transactions, and it kind of stays that. But I like to have women who feel like they can't live without me. Because if a woman feels like she can live without me, I lose all attraction to her. I don't know why. So it's nothing personal. I'm sure your technique is fantastic, and you're very attractive. But
do you think that makes you a narcissist then?
Oh, I think every single person on the planet is a narcissist.
Yeah.
And this is the same interaction, right? We got the pimp.
Ridiculous when we sit here and say, he's a narcissist, but I'm not. Of course, that's the dumbest. Every single...
The pimp, the simp, and the whore. Yeah.
Person on
when you
the
look
planet.
at the definition of it, everyone is to a certain
narcissist.
extent. As long as you want to be successful and you believe in what you believe in and you feel empowered by it,
of course.
Suddenly you're a narcissist.
Everybody's a narcissist.
Look, they're saying, oh, that's not funny. Well, I just am looking at the men's reactions to when she's saying it versus Waller's reaction to when Lila was nagging him about who he's banging,
Everybody's out for themselves. Everything is transactional. And the goal of all transactions is to get the better end of the deal. And I have no problem with girls spending my money if I feel like I'm getting the better end of the deal.
Yeah.
If she gives me like children, for example, that's one of the ways she can give me the better end of the deal. If she dedicates her life to me and she's sexually exclusive to me and she doesn't go out clubbing or partying and doesn't do anything without telling me and she gives me her life and her loyalty, I feel like that's worth some money. That's a transaction. But it is a transaction. It's absolutely what it is. I'm not interested in having sex with women just for the sake of sex. I really, this might be controversial, don't find sex
God
that...
forbid you're controversial.
I know. I don't find sex that entertaining. I really don't enjoy it that much, to be
Maybe you need
honest.
to switch your girls
Sex is
up.
supposed to be entertaining.
No, I really, like, I'll be halfway through and I'm just like, you know what? I got better shit to do. I can go,
I thought you need to impregnate her.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only reason I'm doing it. Because I really don't find sex that
How long are
great.
you lasting in the bedroom?
Long enough, my dear. I don't really find sex that...
She's laughing at his jokes. You know, she's... Girl game's a thing. Now, granted, if you're ugly and you have girl game, it doesn't really matter, but...
entertaining. I don't enjoy sex that much. I don't really care. I'm not that sexual a person. And I think that...
Yeah, do you know what? I would actually want to have Bonnie Blue on the podcast, but I wouldn't actually even want to talk to her about having 1,000 men in a day. I don't care. I would want to know what she's learned about what men like and don't like.
That's because I could have it as much as I wanted, maybe. I don't know. I mean, most men are so busy trying to chase it all the time that it's entertaining to them. But because I can basically any girl on the planet, all of a sudden I really just don't really want to. I have
Would
other
you
shit
lick a
to
girl
do.
out, or is that gay in your eyes because you're not doing that to breed her?
I think perhaps if a man licks a girl out, foreplay, I wouldn't say it's completely gay, no. But I mean,
getting her ready for
if
your
you just
python.
licked a girl out and then didn't fuck her, I guess that'd be kind of weird. And that's how I see sex with a condom or sex with a birth control. I see it as that. If you imagine you just licked a girl out and then stopped, I think it'd be kind of...
I mean, that's one way to get herpes. You know what I mean? If he's banging 1,000, he says he's banged 1,000 chicks. If he banged 1,000 raw, oh no. No.
Weird. I don't know. But who gives what I think, right? I'm just a guy. But my
You're just a guy with a lot of court
my
cases.
primary objective is to die with children.
Yeah.
My primary objective is children. Like, perhaps it's because if you have an empty life, if you're a man and you're at home all day and you've got a basic 9-to-5 job and you don't have much going on in your life, perhaps sex is a lot more entertaining to you because you have all these beautiful women you see on Instagram that you can't, and you have nothing else you can do. But me, I can f any of these girls on Instagram, and I don't really want to because I can drive any car in the world and I can go anywhere in the world, and I have private jets, and I have court cases to fight, and I have an empire, and I can do podcasts. I can do so many amazing things that sex is just further down the rankings than
Like
other
for
stuff
me-
I can do each day. If I wake up each day, I don't go, I want to. I wake up and go, you know what? By the time I do this and this and this and this and this and this and this, I've had a great day. Maybe it's just because my life's so fantastic.
Yeah.
And the fact that all these women these men are chasing I could have makes them less appealing. But most of these men get no, so of course they're obsessed. Starving men are obsessed with food. And if you have a buffet, you eat a bit and you're kind of bored of it. If you have a buffet in your house, you're just not